So let's get up on her. Come here, baby. Let me get up on you. Let me get up on you real good. I want to talk to you, baby. Let's stop it.
Here we are, all alone, you and me, leveled up, all the way to the maximum at this moment. But what difference does it make? Because at the end of the day, it's still all about the same thing. And that same thing is realization of the truths that once taken notice to can transform your reality. What is more important than experiencing the reality that you want to experience while you're here? And everything should be geared toward that end. When it's not, what do we find ourselves in? That is the definition of the rat race. When you see the rat on the wheel running in a circle, not going anywhere. When we aren't consciously making choices, which will place us in the experiential situations that we want to experience, we are set at the default in which society sets for us, which is the rat race. It is running as fast as you can just to stay in place. These things aren't difficult to actually obtain. The thing about it is they aren't intuitive. And when I say intuitive, I mean intuitive is what you have been given in the form of education coming through this thing called society. If I was born on Mars in its prime, what I believe is intuitive is strength and power and domination is king. Morality and ethical behavior and kindness is weakness. And anybody who shows that should be destroyed. This is just, look, don't worry where I get it from. The point of the matter is what you get in the form of intuitive beliefs is given to you by the society that you're raised in. So when I say it's not intuitive to look at life in a manner that will build you to the point that you would like to experience, I'm not saying it in a manner to downgrade any individual human. I'm saying that the vast majority of us have been brought up in society. And the goal of society is not to empower the individual. It's not because I said so or something I believe. Just look around at the individuals in your sphere, in your world. Nobody is where they would like to be, and everybody looks for opportunities to leave their current situation and go on a vacation and take some time off. What does that mean? Take some time off, go on a vacation. Leave the situation that I am in now that I don't want to be in and go someplace pleasant. Every human is there. And that is because virtually every human has been brought up in the same society. So what has been given to you in the form of information is the thing that creates this idea of intuitive or common sense. Common is always a word to be avoided. I mean, we got to start someplace. And we have to start the foundations, because until the foundation is correct, I don't care how many houses you build upon it. I don't care how many books you read about self-help in any faction. Until the foundation is correct, everything will fall apart, which is why you watch 100 million YouTube videos all about self-help, all about motivation. You've read all of these books, you attended these seminars, and nothing has changed significantly yet. Take your time. Let's go through it properly. Now, I'd like to take the position in starting this new faction. This is only not live because I don't know how to do it yet. But we're going to do this live every day in podcast form. I got a phone number already in line. You can call up. We can talk about it. You can ask questions, things that you're interested in. We can dialogue. That's happening. That's why I took that time off to get all of this in motion. You have to do things in the proper way if you want to affect the world in the manner that is significant. Now, involuntary thought. How do I stop involuntary thought? I need to quiet my mind. My mind makes me so depressed. It tells me these things as if it is somebody different than you. Firstly, understand your mind is not a thing that needs to be quieted. What needs to happen is you, the recipient of these ideas and these words internally, need to turn down the dial of priority that you're giving the words coming through to you. It's not that the words need to be quieted, because you cannot voluntarily get advice that's going to help you quiet your mind. But what you can do is realize the priority level that you're giving to these ideas needs to be put under your foot and squashed. Would you give the same priority to a 4-year-old child who was so-called negative speaking to you? Of course not. And what I'm saying to you is you need to give even less priority to your mind than you would give a 4-year-old stranger when it comes to involuntary thought. That is different than voluntary thought. Let us slowly go through this. There's no need to rush. Where are we going to go? What's the point? I mean, if we really want to build things up, we need to examine things in a manner that yields results. Because the way that you gauge a thing is by the results that it brings you only, not the recommendations of the person that is currently being hailed as the top figure in psychological thought. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the results that you get when you put something into practice and your experiences, because each individual is living their own game. They're living their own life. So if something to you after experiencing it doesn't speak truth, then you need to let it go and try something else. Don't listen to what other people tell you, even me. Hear the words nakedly and then evaluate them on your own accord. Well, how do I evaluate them if I don't measure them against thoughts that I've been already given and exposed to? You measure them by the way they make you feel when you are exposed to them. Truth is closer to feeling than it is to intellectuality. The intellect is a tool necessary for building blueprints and moving forward. That's it. The intellect alone is weak. That's going to be a common thread here. The intellect by itself is weak. We're going to explore that on the Tree of Life and why it's weak and where it lies. But let's not digress, because I could bounce everywhere, and that's usually how I am. But we're not going to do that here. Involuntary thought needs to be disrespected the same way a enemy 4-year-old with the intention of destroying you and your soul and your family and your children would be disrespected if that being was giving you advice on moving forward. If there was an enemy who you know for a fact is out to destroy you, would you take high value to the words that they give you in regards to advice? Absolutely not. Involuntary thought should be given that same premise, is what I'm telling you. You don't need to quiet it. You don't need to shut it up or learn some technique in pranayama or some meditation style that's going to, for 20 minutes, trick the self into stop speaking internally. What you need to do is realize that, firstly, it is not you. Oh my God, I've heard that so many times, because it's true. And secondly, even if whatever you think it is, the biggest takeaway you can take right now from here is the fact that whatever comes through to you in the form of involuntary thought should be disrespected disgustingly until you hear something there and evaluate it and agree, outside of it trying to persuade you. Because a lot of times when we have this internal dialogue, it's like a salesman trying to persuade you onto something. It's trying to sell you onto something. You have to realize, even when you're going, when you have this, oh my God, involuntary thought, I just need to quiet it. There's so much negative talk going on in my mind. It's really making me feel bad. You have to realize, firstly, that whatever it is, we're not even going to get into if it's you, if it's something else, if it's, you'll be surprised to what it really is. We're going to get into all of the I'm so glad that this situation is here, because I can clearly just give it to you raw, right? But just for practical purposes, you have to listen to it when you listen to it and realize that the complaint that you're making originally about, I want to quiet this involuntary thought, this negative talk that just keeps coming to me. You have to acknowledge, firstly, that there is something talking and something receiving the conversation. You are hearing it and you don't like it. So that means there's a dialogue going on between two entities. That's the first realization that must be taught. And I'm not saying taught like I'm giving you the almighty teaching, but self-taught, because teaching can't come outside of realization. So realize this. When you say I want to quiet involuntary thought because of the negativity it's bringing, realize that firstly, there is something speaking out, and secondly, you are receiving the message and you don't like it. So what does that tell you? It cannot be you, because it is you who are receiving the message in which you don't like. Look, chew that real quick. I'm not going nowhere. Stop for a moment. Moving too fast, we miss everything. Chew that one sentence up, because that may break barriers for you right there. Just realizing that there is something talking and you're saying, oh my God, I don't want to hear it anymore. How do I stop it from talking, because this thing that is saying to me is affecting me negatively? That in itself is the evidence, outside of anything else, that there is something listening, you, the real you, and something else speaking to you. So how can the mind be you? Chew it up. Let's take 20 seconds, just chew that up. I got the timer right here. I got a computer right here. Let's just chew it up for 20 seconds, please. Please. Chew that up. Don't stop thinking about that. Realize it. That may be the thing. That starts to untangle those knots. Oh, it's really not me. Then what is it? Now we get into it. But you can't really get into it until you first realize there are two things there, not one. And you are one. You are the thing on the recipient end, beloved. Once you identify that, oh my God, I still got the audio running, but the camera's memory card ran out of space. That's why you can still hear me. And I'm looking at the camera and I'm saying, oh my God, we getting so good into it. Oh my God. That's what you hear. Oh my God. But I'm looking at the audio, I'm recording it separately. The camera died out. The camera died out. We are going to get deep here. I promise you. I've taken time and I've made the investment to make it real for you. Because what I want to give to you is not self-help. Because the self in itself is an illusion. Joe Brown, Christina Aguilera, whatever your name may be, that is something created through the means of society. Let me give you one thing. Society is not on your side. And the evidence is not me telling it to you. But if we're just being butt naked, honest, raw honesty, the evidence is virtually everyone who is in society despises their day-to-day while dealing with societal matters. People seek freedom. And unfortunately, society has successfully hidden freedom in the idea of acquiring money. And they turned acquiring money into participating in society, which is why 90-something% of the whole world is trapped in that cycle. And a single digit, I'm not going to say 1% or 5%, I don't know. I'm here, I don't know. But 1% of society has stumbled into, been given this formula, whatever the reason, 1% virtually has found a way to secure that freedom. But even they are bound because the truths exposed to them, even while acquiring money, has not been enough to break the internal bonds and chains which creates true slavery to society. I'm not telling you not to deal with society. I would never, because you are here. Your family's here. Your friends are here. But what I'm giving you is the cheat book. It's the equivalent to the cheat book in how you can move through society while not being a part of it. And because you're not a part of it, you have the equivalent of wings while everybody's stuck to the ground. We getting nasty over here, I promise you. This is very unorthodox. And in order to imbibe what I'm giving you here, you have to be completely open to looking at things from a perspective that you've never looked at them from. And even more, what I would say is even more useful. Come here with no premeditated ideas, as if you were coming from the planet Sirius and you never heard of Earth. You don't know what society is. You are coming here for the first time and you are just taking in information that you will chew later on. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'll be back, man. Let me get this situation together. Stay well. Peace out. That's it.